Welcome to the High Ground Podcast. I'm Stevie.
I'm Callum.
And today, No Time to Die review. And I'm going to put spoilers are now officially...
They're active.
Yep, so if you've not seen No Time to Die, or you live in one of the territories which is still to open, then switch this off now and come back to us once you've watched the latest James Bond movie, No Time to Die.
Now that you finally can.
Yeah, April. We were supposed to get it in the UK, April 2020. Then, if I'm right, it was November.
Yep.
Then it's now. Wasn't it again earlier this year?
Yeah, was it not March? Oh no, April you said, didn't you? Yeah.
April last year.
Oh yeah, no, I thought it.
April 2020.
I'm sure they went November, then March, and then now we'll put it back again.
So I remember I had tickets for it for 2 days.
Yeah, we were going to book, weren't we?
Yeah, I had tickets the day of release, and we were going to sit down at the weekend and book the tickets for the IMAX. Then COVID happened, and it was like, yeah, you're kidding me. But quick question: do you think No Time to Die was worth the wait?
Oh yeah, yeah. It would have absolutely killed me if this had been released on streaming.
Yeah.
I thought because it would, if you're releasing something like a James Bond film, then it's the end. Because it's an event film, isn't it?
I mean, in the UK, definitely, I 100% agree with you. I mean, in the UK, it's. I think I hold it up the defining British movie. It's the British franchise, even though it's funded by the Americans.
Yeah, I mean, but I always used to joke that tea and James Bond are the greatest British exports.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it's sort of like everybody knows who James Bond is, and it's. I'm not gonna say it's like royalty. He is royalty.
Yeah,
Whoever plays James Bond, it's like where some people are born into it.
Yeah.
Some people will just become it, and James Bond actors, it's like Doctor Who. Supposedly, you could argue, is the only thing that's close. That is television equivalent of being something that's so British.
Yeah.
And it's an event even after all these years. I mean, we are 59. We've 59 years and 25 James
films.
Bonds.
Yeah, and 2 unofficial.
So,
yeah,
initial reaction.
It's kind of like, sorry, I will go on to that, but it's kind of like even an event like when the James Bond is announced, isn't it? Like who the next one is. I mean, I never sort of, as a rule, I've always never speculated on who I think is going to be next. You know, I've always had ideas and stuff, but whenever, because people know like we're big Bond fans, or they'll come up to us and say, so who do you think the next one is? You know, and I've never liked to say, because I only believe it when I see who's been cast. It's kind of like Batman, isn't it? Like when you hear who the next Batman's going to be, and you're like, ugh. But you have to see it to see if it's going to work or not.
So you mean like all the people that kicked up a stink because of Michael Keaton, and all the people that kicked up a stink
Yeah.
because of Heath Ledger?
And Daniel Craig is not Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember
that shit.
Oh yeah. Well, that was that. I mean, I was like, because they really didn't know shit about Daniel Craig pre 2006, and when it happened, I was like, okay, give it a shot.
Yeah.
And then when the first trailer dropped, all these assholes that were against Daniel Craig were like, oh.
Yeah, as soon as they saw him in the fucking swimming trunks.
Yeah.
And changed their tune. I think we always thought he was going to be good, didn't we? Really.
In that first trailer.
Yeah. And I think I'd seen Layer Cake before as well, and when all the rumblings started coming, that like would this be the next Bond? I was kind of like, yeah, I think he could. Like, I in my head, there was always rumours it was going to be Clive Owen as well,
Yeah.
and I thought that would have been good as well, but he apparently was never asked. So
Clive Owen would have been too much of a continuation of Pierce Brosnan.
yeah.
In terms of looks and in terms of, I think, the style. When you see him in the suit, Clive Owen is very much Brosnan, Connery, Roger Moore. Although
It's like the old gruffer guy. Isn't
yeah,
he? Yeah.
So, but you know, Daniel Craig. I mean, perfect.
You can't imagine anyone like at the moment anyone else, can you?
No. People asked me prior to release, you know, who do you think could take it over from Daniel Craig? And I said for some time, I think 007's already been cast. It's just a hunch I've had, and if I didn't go, well, so who is it? I said, so if I tell you if I'm right, I've just ruined it.
You owe me money.
Yeah. And if I'm wrong, I'm an a-hole. But we can go into spoiler territory.
Yeah,
I kind of figured it. You know, when in one of the trailers it said meet your new 00, and when it was Lashana Lynch, and I was like, bingo, there's your new 007. Let's see if they've got balls to go through with it.
Maria Rambeau.
Yeah, and I was like, yep. I figured, I'm hoping, which, if people don't listen to it and don't want to take the risk, that's where you go. Next is have Naomi. Naomi, this is IMDb.
I thought it was Naomi as well.
Yeah, Naomi. Naomi Harris. Oh yeah. But I will say that like when you have her as the new 007, if the studio's got the guts to go through with it,
I don't know.
that
Yeah.
would be good. Whether or not that this is where it gets,
This is where we come up with our own theories, isn't it?
Yeah. they can only go two ways. They can either continue the franchise going as it is, or do go and have a reboot, which would work.
Yeah, I think I said this coming out of the cinema, didn't I? That I think they're going to reboot, and I think they might even try setting it when the books are set. I think that's something we haven't tried yet.
Yeah.
And they almost tried it with Casino Royale, didn't they? With Brosnan having it black and white, and Tarantino was on board to direct and stuff like that.
Tarantino said he wanted to direct a Bond film, and it would have to be Casino Royale.
Yeah. And I really would love to see a Bond film set in the 50s.
That'd be good.
I think that would be great. I think that would be fantastic. And if you got the right guy, it'd just be. I just think that'd be phenomenal. I think it'd be great to sort of go back to that era. Now that we're 60 years coming up.
The problem is a lot of the attitudes in the 60s now. I'm going to apologise for. Someone said about how Bond's treatment of women, even though they are villains.
Yeah, but I mean, do you know what annoys me with a lot of that stuff is that they'll say that about Bond, and like Fleming was a misogynist and all that, and yeah, he was racist, and he was like, he was this and that and the other, but then you take these great gothic romances like Wuthering Heights, where the main character's an abusive, horrible, horrible guy, and yet all the women are like, oh, Heathcliff and Christian Grey.
Yeah, that
and they're
really
all
annoys
deeply
me.
troubling, damaged individuals, aren't they? Like Bond's, I'm not saying Bond's not damaged or troubled. He's probably one of the most troubled characters I've ever read about, but it's honest, and like Fleming is only saying what men would have been like back then. I'm not condoning it. It's just that's what men were like then. That's what secret agents were probably like. They used and they threw away.
And the thing about Christian Grey, that's the thing that always annoyed me. Is I only watched the first film. Is that
that's enough?
I said to my fiance when we came out of it, I said he's like Bond, but without without
he's like
charisma.
Batman, but because he's like a billionaire, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he's just so abusive. And at least Bruce Wayne is like outwardly damaged. You know that going in. But this guy's sold as like a romantic hero, and it's just strange.
He's an abusive control freak.
Yeah, and I don't get, like, I get obviously like progressive attitudes need to prevail over stuff like that, but I don't understand how you can have young girls like wanting to be treated with respect and stuff, which they should be, and then liking people like Christian Grey. It just, I know they like bad boys, don't they? But this is like liking future serial killers, isn't it?
That's true.
I mean, Ted Bundy had groupies. Yeah, fucking mull that one over.
Yeah. But with Bond, I mean, the way they portrayal of Bond is that there's a justification as to why he is the way he is, but there is he with Daniel Craig's one, especially now with No Time to Die, his arc in that.
Yeah.
It is all about wanting to connect but not trusting, and how he finds it easy to walk away when he gets in his head that he's being betrayed. He doesn't beat up the woman, he just walks away. He does from the situation. He's right, he thinks that he's right, so that's it, and that sets up the movie. And I like it, and it's I know he's been defined as sexist and misogynistic, but I feel Daniel Craig's one, especially in the arc that it's got, he is led by strong women, and he forgives. I mean, Moneypenny shoots him. And at the end, the core group is Moneypenny, Q, and M. His surrogate mother.
Yeah.
The other M, Dame Judy Dench, Vesper Lind. It's
The only M.
Yeah. Madeline. They're all.
Yeah.
He's surrounded by these strong women, and it's not like we're doing it for the sake of doing it. These women are in this movie, and in these movies, to inform the character rather than being just like they're not disposable like
no,
in the
sidekicks.
Yeah, and even I've got to mention Ana de Armas' Paloma, her relationship with Felix.
Yeah, I had so much fun in that Cuba scene. Just when he pulls, you know, I kind of knew she wasn't going to be in it very long because you don't see her outside of one outfit in the trailer, do you?
No.
And I thought that's obviously going to be like a one shot bit that he goes to kind of thing. But I had so much fun at that scene. You know, it was Blofeld's birthday party, wasn't it? And it's just, she's so full of energy and she's so vibrant and like you can't help but like her. And she's gorgeous as well with that dress on. But it's just, I can definitely see a spin-off with Paloma. I think either Paloma or Naomi, because they've been wanting Bond spin-offs since they wanted to do one with Die Another Day, didn't they? With Jinx, but obviously we know how that turned out.
Because she was born on Friday the 13th. But Ana de Armas from Knives Out.
Yeah, reuniting the two of them.
Yeah,
I realised that at the time.
I was because as soon as I saw the trailer, and I'm a huge Knives Out fan. Just seeing the two, I was like, come on! I want a Knives Out reference. I didn't get one, but it was so cool. And we are in spoiler territory. The bit that she can't remember the line that she has to say.
Yeah.
And the whole
down in the drink just to get the courage of that. Yeah. I like that because it's nice to see like a sort of, you know, you get the characters that help him.
Yeah.
It's nice to see them sort of be new. You know, kind of not know what they're doing, and Bond is having fun as well. Like he really likes her, doesn't he? You can tell, but not in a I'm gonna sleep with this girl. It's kind of like she reminds me of me when I was younger, sort of thing.
She and her. I mean, I know she doesn't share any scenes with having brain freeze here. And she know because he's brilliant. Jeffrey Wright, Felix likes Jeffrey Wright. I hope if they do give her a movie, there's a flashback with Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah. I was quite shocked about that actually. I didn't see Felix dying at all. No. It hit me quite hard actually.
Yeah.
He's been the best Felix, hasn't he?
No, definitely.
I mean, he's just so cool as well. And it was just they play it really well. You know, the fact that he even has to leave his body behind, so he can't bury him or what.
The bit with that guy that betrays him, when you know, come on, do it, Bond, do it. I actually went,
that was the For Your Eyes Only reference, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where he kicks Locke off of the car out off of the cliff, and I really liked that. I thought as soon as I saw that scene, I thought For Your Eyes Only.
Nice.
And it's just Bond like where he is cold-blooded because you fucked with his family. Like,
yeah. I was like, yes.
That whole scene was really good actually, like in the misty forest, and it was kind of like, it reminded me of First Blood a little bit. You know, like he's trying to like distract them away from Madeline and Mathilde, isn't he? And it kind of gave me that sort of John Rambo sort of feeling where he's drawing them to him, and you see how dangerous he can be.
When you threaten what he cares for, you're
fucked.
Yeah, it's like, and it was. Yeah, just killing that guy was like
sweet satisfaction. I didn't actually see him becoming a bad guy, but now that I look back, you know, the fact that he calls him the Book of Mormon and he's always smiling and that, he is kind of suspicious, isn't he?
Smarmy. It was that it was. Even though we haven't mentioned Tana, we can having Tana back in the group. It is such I tell you, I mean, I saw the end. We're going to go a bit back to it, but I did see the ending coming. I saw it from the trailers. I thought that'd be the perfect arc, and the fact that they gave Daniel Craig the perfect arc was.
Yeah, I think we probably should talk about the ending actually, because it'll be the point of contention on it for a lot. It's probably the main controversy about the film, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And we made predictions, didn't we, beforehand about what we thought was going to happen.
There was logic to. There was always in the trailer, one of the trailers we said that meet your new 007. I thought you know, I had an idea where they were going, but I went into it for over a year knowing that in my head that they were going to kill him off. I thought that would be the perfect arc for the character. But when it gets to the point where you know there's no turning back, the Lethal Weapon 2 thing kicks in where in my head where they ain't gonna do this. You know, you know, or even Revenge of the Sith, my one Star Wars reference, where Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting, you know the outcome, but you don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
And within when it came to the end sequence, everything was put in place for it, and I was like, they're gonna do it, but nah. And then when they did it, I was like, okay, they've done it.
I was still kind of, part of me was still kind of expecting like a post-cred sequence where he wakes up in the water or something like that, or loses his memory or something like that. But I'm glad they actually stuck to their guns. I think like the way they got there was kind of like a little bit jumping through. It's like, why couldn't they have just waited for those missiles? Like, you know, but I get that you had to push the plot along and create the urgency, and obviously like the thing with Safin touching him with the virus, which means you can't ever touch his loved ones. It's the only way you'd have to be something pretty desperate for Bond to just say, "Alright, I'm done now. Sorry," like because he always makes it out, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Whereas this time he does it for someone else rather than himself. And it's just like wonderful to hear him say, you know, when she said like when he's radioing her to say goodbye and that, and she says something to him and he just says, "Well, it doesn't matter. You've got all the time in the world."
Yeah, they played that at the start
hit
as
you
well.
right with it, don't they? Yeah.
But when he says it, he says it at the start of the film.
Yeah,
or she says it, one of the two.
well, don't they?
Yeah, and I was like, I knew I actually knew what they were going to say. Just, this is what the beauty of No Time to Die is. It's very naturalistic. It's how you expect it, but when you expect it, but it's still good. And the callbacks to Her Majesty's Secret Service, which they did respect her with, you know, the Piscloria thing with the clinic where Madeline works. So everything like that, and the music, the cues, and everything is just. To some people, they wouldn't realise it because it's the overlooked Bond,
isn't it?
Yeah. But that part, I really got to me, and the ending with the Louis Armstrong.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk for a while afterwards. I was really.
I just like the last line as well. You know, where she says, "I'm going to tell you about your father," and his name was Bond. James Bond. If this was the last one ever, I'd be happy because it's the only logical way you can end that run without having to go back to it out of necessity of people saying, "Well, oh, I like Daniel Craig used stuff from his run." You know, this is them saying, "No, he's done now. Like he's not not coming back. We're not going to have a never say never again." Like situation on our hands here. It's like they've had the courage to say he's dead, he's gone. The next Bond is a new Bond. That's how I think. I think because no one ever. You know, people will come. There's fan theories, you know, the code name theory and that to explain why there's different actors. But we all know it's just because they've recast it, and it's the one series where you can accept the main character being played by different people, and not have to have a reason for it. I mean, I always looked at Daniel Craig's Bond arc as like it's Bond's life condensed into 5 films instead of 25. He meets his first love. He loses her. He shuns the women after that. He meets his match with Silver. He loses his mother. He finds his one true love. He can't be with her if he dies.
Yeah,
it's someone's whole life, and I think it's really clever that they've sort of thematically condensed Bond's whole life into 5 films.
I think that I completely 100% agree with everything you said, and I think that after that arc, it wouldn't, to me, because I know Quantum of Solace, so some people aren't fond of it, but when you've got 5 perfect movies, they've not done that. They can't even do 3 on some cases and Bonds. But when you've got 5, I think recasting Bond in that timeline, keeping it going, would be jarring. Because you've got a complete. Like you said, it's a lifetime condensed, and it's perfection, and you know. You can see, if you look at, say, From Dr. No to Die Another Day. Die Another Day was a franchise killer.
Yeah.
Oh, because and something about No Time to Die is they were able to do because this is Bond 25, Die Another Day was Bond 20. They were able to do the little in jokes, but not have them in your face like the Dactaro cigars. A bit at the start with the credits, and they got those circles.
Yeah, like Doctor No. Yeah, I saw as soon as I saw that, I thought. And they were trolling us because everyone thinks Safin was Doctor No.
Yeah.
And I think they were.
They were definitely trolling with that.
There's a bit later on I'll go into that they troll even more. That only I think hardcore Bond fans will know, but I'll talk to it when we get to our discussion.
And the Dactaros and the but that bit with the Doctor and the start of wow, and it's GoldenEye. He's Jamaican resort, which looks like GoldenEye.
Yeah.
When I say GoldenEye, I mean the real GoldenEye. The
house. Yeah.
You know what? I tell you, it hit me when I was thinking about this today. You got two audiences. If you say GoldenEye to the people who just watch a James Bond film, they'll just think Pierce Brosnan film.
Yeah.
First, but people like us who say GoldenEye, you just think of Jamaican Retreat where Ian Fleming wrote James Bond, and I found that fascinating. And I want to go back to the Dactaro thing. The Dactaro or Dactaro?
Delectados.
Yeah.
The cigars.
They're slow burning. They never go out. And the fact that it's Felix in the role of trying to recruit the sleeper, but he's not really a sleeper. He's retired.
Yeah.
But Felix is trying to recruit James Bond for him.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that means that Bond is the sleeper.
Yeah.
And I was like, they know what they're.
The CIA.
Yeah. and I thought that was.
I couldn't. They were. I don't know whether I just missed it or whether it was just made sort of misty. But was Felix supposed to still be with the CIA, or was he done as well?
He's CIA.
He was still. Yeah.
He was CIA.
I don't know if he was retired as well.
And I like the way he calls him his brother. And
I always liked, like, at first I thought like rather ashamedly that because they chose the black guy, that was why he was saying brother. But then you do actually become like they are brothers, aren't they? Like they work with the same lying politicians and they do the same dirty work, don't they? So they're no different.
I was sort of racist on my brother from Langley. When I said that, it meant really I'm your counterpart.
Yeah,
so that was,
but
even Ben Whishaw manages to do since Desmond Llewellyn managed to make Q his own. And I like his Q. I really like the MI6 family. Yeah. Like they've all been they went through their own sort of arc, haven't they? Yeah.
It's nice to all see them. They all bounce off each other really well, don't they?
You can cut it out. I know he's staying with you.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah, I kind of like. I thought, they haven't made QVA, have they? Like just for the shits and gigs, like they do with everything now. But it didn't actually bother me as much as I thought.
He had his cats.
For the record, I've got nothing wrong with gay characters, and it's when they shoehorn gay characters in just to fit a tick box.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Were the cats a reference to Austin Powers? Because
the cats were.
I was honestly thinking of like Mr. Bigglesworth.
Yeah.
From Austin Powers.
I was thinking of the line from Spectre.
Yeah, about feeding his cats.
Yeah.
I just didn't know because they didn't have. It's when he's like, oh, these come with fur now.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was an Austin Powers joke.
Sure.
Because he's got a furless cat, hasn't he?
I didn't see that, but you're probably right.
I don't know.
Come on, they've already done the Austin Powers thing with Die Another Day.
Yeah, they legit did an Austin Powers film. Didn't they?
Right down to the score, the soundtrack from Madonna. But, yeah. You were saying about, I think we were going to get to the Bond reference.
Yeah, but I sort of want to tie it into what we think of the villain. What do you think?
He was Safin.
Yeah.
Alright.
That was my one main weak point of the film, I think.
They'd already done my favourite type of Bond villain with Silver.
Yeah. Scaramanga or 006.
Yeah. For the record, in case you don't know where we're going with this, my favourite villains are the ones that are Bond sequels. That's why you've got Scaramanga, Silver, Alec Trevelyan, and I always gravitate to Red Grant.
Red Grant, yeah.
And so I always gravitate towards those ones.
The ones that could be Bond.
Yeah. In a former life like Silver was. But Safin the assassin and everything who's spared, but
this is no disrespect to Rami Malek because he's a god.
Yeah.
But the opening sequence was good. I thought that was really scary. Actually, it reminded me of like a slasher film.
Yeah.
You know, because he's wearing that mask, and this is the point I was getting to about Doctor No. So there was a theory, wasn't there, that he was going to be like a sort of rebooted Doctor No. And they do kind of troll you with things throughout the film, like we said, the opening sequence. Oh, that looks like Doctor No. And then when he's shot at the start and his mask breaks, there's a bullet hole above like where his heart should be, and I presumed he just had body armor on. But I remembered in Doctor No the novel, Doctor No's heart is on the right hand side of his body instead of the left, and it's a real condition. For some reason, Ian Fleming likes to have his villains be deformed in some way. Every single book, one of them's deformed. I don't know why. And his heart's on the wrong side of his body, and he's shot where it would be normally, and he survives it. And there's a bullet hole where his heart should be. So if you watch the trailer, you can see it when he's above the ice. There's a bullet hole there, and I actually thought, oh, are they actually doing it? Yeah. And then when you get to see his lair as well, it looks like the set from like a Ken Adams set, doesn't it? I must admit that set looked fantastic.
Oh, especially I like the hangar with was it Spider Love Me, the one with the biggest set,
the sub pen.
Yeah. And I thought that was nice.
But he has a garden of death in the book as well, where he makes poisons and stuff. And I feel like there's something on the cutting room floor with Safin. Like there was some stuff where you're kind of like, I don't get his plan either. I don't really understand why he wants to kill these people. He didn't really give an explanation, did he?
He was more of a pawn that you wanted to get Spectre out of the way, I think.
Yeah, I got that. I got like the family revenge thing. I can get on board with that. I just didn't understand why. Like, was it a population control thing like Stromberg, or I just didn't really get what his plan was. I just feel like they needed to up the stakes. Like, this could infect the entire world, sort of thing, to get Bond on board for one last mission. I mean, it doesn't take away from the film or anything like that. It's just, nothing's perfect, is it?
Yeah. Was it this one, what film is it? It's a Brosnan one. The graveyards are full of
I know what you mean.
Of dictators or something.
Yeah,
on those lines.
Is it Goldeneye? No. Is that Goldeneye? Who says that?
Oh, I can remember just a vague line. But don't worry, next year you can hear them when we do our big 25 movie watch-a-thon.
We've got so many Bond quotes lodged in our brains. Yeah. They're like Rolodex, aren't they? You have to fish through them.
Oh, definitely. But on Her Majesty's Secret Service, it reminds me of Marvel when they say, okay, how can we troll the fans? I know, we're just going to reference Dark World, the one nobody knows.
Yeah.
And we can just mine that fucker. And they've done it for 2 films now.
Yeah, I know, and like it works as well, doesn't it? And the fact that they came up as well with one of the nicest, most touching moments between Thor and his mother.
Yeah.
And it's in the film everyone considers to be the weakest.
Yeah.
Because Marvel do that, and they do it well. And I was going to say that actually, and you beat me to it, that referencing the Bond film that on paper everyone should hate, but is actually one of the best and has the best story arc for Bond, and the one time where you actually like are almost in tears for him.
Yeah.
And that was only logical that they could have referenced that theme.
Oh,
because it just makes sense, doesn't it? It was where we saw Bond lose his heart for the first time in the series. I mean, I actually don't know if Connery could have done that part.
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he's Bond, but each different Bond brings their own chemistry to the role, don't they? I mean, some Bonds are more Fleming-like than others. Some Bonds are better at being funny than others. Some Bonds can do this or that better than and it's nice that we have 5 different actors to bring their own sort of palette to it.
Daniel Craig can do comedy because how did it feel now? Was it you died scratching my balls?
Yeah, and then I like that henchman in this with the bionic eye as well. Is it Nemo or?
It was
Zemo. No, Zemo. That's Marvel, isn't it?
It was
Primo.
That's it.
Yeah.
Cyclops.
But when he uses Q's EMP watch to kill him, I was just showing this man your new watch, Q. It blew his mind. There's still that humour. That was a good fight on the stairs as well, actually. Daniel Craig's sort of a good all-rounder Bond, isn't he? He can be tough as balls when he needs to be, and he can be sensitive, and it's the first time, like, Casino Royale is probably the first time I've ever seen Bond cry.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, he sort of tears up in Majesty, and I think he cries in License to Kill when Felix is hurt and his wife's killed, doesn't he? But it's not something you ever really saw Bond do before that, because I don't think it was what men did then, was it?
No, you have to be masculine.
Yeah.
And you can't. But you know, nowadays you can, and I mean, you know, it's like when it all just hit in, and I think it was my fiance that said that he's at the end calls him James, but it's always 007.
Yeah.
And that's when they remember him, and it's like that's just perfect.
Yeah.
And so, and having Naomi in with them as well, it's really
She's part of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that could have made that scene even better is if they had martinis.
Yeah. But I was just.
I think that's more of an Ian Fleming thing because his drink was scotch. So
the bit with Paloma and De Armas getting fucked up with Bond.
Yeah.
they had fun.
I really fucking enjoyed that scene. Yeah. That's like what Bond can do when it is fun.
Yeah.
You know, you can have your serious Bond and you can have your funny Bond, but goddamn do you love fun Bond. And it's something people, you know, we're all for all these dark remakes of things, and you know, it's what plagued DC, wasn't it? There's no humour in those first two films. And it's something Bond's always handled quite well.
Yeah.
I mean, something maybe not so well with Dalton, because they did go full on dark with him, didn't they?
That was ahead of his time.
But yeah, I mean, that wasn't a bad thing. I always liked when Bond was violent and revengeful and dark, because he is a dark character.
Was it in Man with a Golden Gun? He threatens to break someone's. He threatens to break.
Yeah.
Was it Maud Adams' arm?
It was,
yeah. But nowadays, because he's hurting a woman, he was getting information out the woman. All the women he hurts are women he's getting information out of.
Yeah.
And all the women that he sleeps with in the original timeline are ones that are willingly doing it.
Yeah.
He may instigate it, but the ones that he's not trying to get information out of, they're dropping the knickers at him. And they are. There's none of the.
I mean, you would drop your knickers for Roger Moore, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. Come on, it's James Bond. But, and you look at Diana, is it GoldenEye, where he's having the evaluation?
Yeah.
And he starts to undress the woman. She doesn't stop him.
No.
And she gives him the evaluation.
Because he's Bond. He turns lesbian straight, for God's sake.
That's true. Not Octopussy, sorry, that's Pussy Galore. And he goes like, "Must be dreaming."
I think that's such a great line to get away with, like under the censors, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, because I would imagine in the 60s, not many British people knew that was slang for what it was.
Yeah.
It was an American thing, wasn't it? Because I mean, they almost had to change her name in American prints because they knew what pussy meant, obviously. But I mean, it sounds sort of cute now, doesn't it? Pussy Galore. But
better than, was it Someone Christmas?
Oh, Christmas Jones.
Yeah, I thought Christmas.
Baby doll. Baby doll, come on. Holly Goodhead. They've always been good with female names, haven't they?
Bambi and Thumper.
Bambi and Thumper, yeah, good God. Is it Strawberry Fields or something?
Yeah, Strawberry Fields. Which goes back to another great James Bond comedy moment. We're teachers on sabbaticals, and we've just won the lottery.
Yeah. I forgot about that. That's quite funny, actually.
Yeah.
Wasn't that in the trailers? No?
I can't remember the
I
trailer.
don't know. For some reason, I imagine him saying it and like being a sting for the trailer. But that was something as well I want to go back to, like when you said about him threatening to break Maud Adams' arm. Yeah. Was that there's certain Bonds where certain attitudes don't look right. Like I don't imagine Roger Moore being Sean Connery, and I think that's to his strength. Like he said, didn't he was scared about saying the Bond thing with the Sean Connery voice, and they're kind of like, no, just do your thing.
And how he drinks whiskey instead of martinis because
and smokes cigars.
Yeah, because but it was
because that's Roger's thing.
Yeah. And he said that you can't say things like James Bond if you without doing the Connery and ordering the vodka martinis.
Yeah.
And the fair play to him. But Roger Moore's ones actually, if you look back, they work. I mean, the Golden Gun is fantastic.
Well, we've said this so many times that he's the gateway Bond.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone was to say, where shall I start watching James Bond, I'd say Roger Moore.
Definitely remember the Golden Gun.
Yeah.
Even
the duology of his first two, because he's sort of still quite serious Bond, isn't he? It's sort of where he is acting a little bit Connery-ish, but still doing his own thing, and then he sort of evolved into, like, everyone sort of remembers him as the joke Bond, don't they? Like the jokester Bond. But that was Roger's thing. Like, he was good at being charming, and I would definitely fall for that guy.
Yeah.
Because he's like, Roger Moore's just so fucking charismatic and suave, and like he was such a nice guy in real life that you could sort of be like, wow, I'll give him a pass for being old as fuck at the end.
He did live his welcome. But the other thing that, and this is something that hit me just right now, is that of all the Bonds, Roger Moore is the one that had it in the worst time period, 73 to
the 80s.
To 85, yeah. So if you look at 73, 74, you're all right with. 75, you've got Jaws. 77, you've got Star Wars.
Yeah.
In the mix, you've also got Alien, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Ghostbusters, and just around about the same time as View to a Kill, you've got Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So you've got a period in which cinema has changed so much. So which
fantastical, isn't it?
Yeah. So you've got Moonraker.
Yeah.
Mixed in with it. So you've got you got science fiction on the rise at the same time as this British secret agent, which was really going out of fashion.
Yeah, I mean, it was 79, wasn't it? So
yeah.
I mean, there's two big franchises that year that went, oh, just do Star Wars. Star Trek did as well, didn't they? Like, we can't not have a film out. God damn it, we started this thing.
Yeah, everybody else is doing it, so should we. But Bond kind of like.
It works for Bond because he's out there anyway, isn't he? Like,
yeah.
None of those stories are realistic. I mean, they are now a little bit more, but even this one, the most sci-fi of all Daniel Craig plots, isn't it? Like nanobot viruses.
Which the first thing as soon as that came, I thought, A, it's topical, considering this film was supposed to be out in production before all this stuff happened, and B, how many people are now going to go out there and not get a COVID jab because that's what they think?
Yeah.
I thought, good, but my God, using that, people were thinking that they're going to have nanobots all over them inside their skin now.
Or some nutty terrorist, like, oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Even though you cannot make something that size to get it into your bloodstream. Oh.
They are real.
Oh,
they are like research. They're researching them to do with, like, they'd be the perfect thing to fight cancer because they can do things on a cellular level. They can make robots you can't even see. The things we can do now. It's mainly for medical purposes, like, because they are amazing. But there is an apocalypse scenario attached to them called the Grey Goo.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard of it. They might have done it. It's probably done it in Doctor Who at some point, where they start to self-replicate and think for themselves, and then all that's left is the Grey Goo of replicating nanobots, and they're all done for. Terminator, a true Terminator scenario.
Yeah.
So Bond did the Grey Goo theory.
Yeah. Ooh. If any of you are rating Skittles,
yeah, we should be sponsored by them, shouldn't we?
Definitely. If anyone from Skittles is there, we'd like to be sponsored.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. What did you think of Blofeld?
Did you see that coming?
What, him dying?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know. Well, I thought he was going to be killed, but not that quickly.
I like the way he got these. It was an accident.
Yeah.
How?
Because Bond actually stopped himself, doesn't he? From strangling.
And it was an accident how the transfer happened.
Yeah.
I thought that was.
I do feel kind of like they've sort of brushed over it a little bit though, because Tanner just comes in and says, "Oh, he's dead," doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like, there's no like fanfare or. But it's also kind of scary the way he comes out. Like Hannibal Lecter, isn't he? Almost in that box. And
but having Bond pressing his buttons and finding out that he's lost 5 years of his life because he set Madeline up. Yeah. So it's like he's been doing it all the fucking time.
He's always like in the background, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's creepy when he does. I actually we love Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
It's just like Tarantino stooges on
Oh, yeah.
But he's just all I kept thinking of was Colonel Hatton's Lander.
Yeah.
whenever I see him.
He's good.
But yeah, no, he's been a good Blofeld actually. But that was the only problem with Spectre, wasn't it? We all knew it was Blofeld. It was the Star Trek Into Darkness thing again, wasn't it?
Yeah, that did ruin it. But after watching it again recently, I do like Mr. Hinks. I really want to see Mr. Hinks, Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
He'd be a good gateway villain for a new one.
Yeah.
Anyway, but 2 hours 43 minutes and an ass-numbing 2 hours 43 minutes, but it was good.
I will say though, it didn't feel like that. It felt like if you'd have told me that was 2 hours, I would have believed you. It really didn't feel that long.
I tried to dehydrate myself because I didn't want to go to the toilet in a bit.
Yeah, I know. I was dying for a piss at the end of that film, but I just couldn't leave. I needed to wait. I think me and you as well, because we took one of our friends who's never seen a James Bond film before, basically, and we were sort of just sitting there, sort of fanboying.
Yeah.
And I think everyone else sort of got up to leave at the credits, and we were just kind of like, we're not going until we see that James Bond will return.
Yeah.
We need to see that.
Obviously, how they do this. Is it 007 will return? Is it James Bond will return? When it's James Bond will return, I got it going.
Yeah, I just... It's kind of like their version of the Marvel end credits, isn't it?
You can't leave until you've seen it.
Yeah.
It's all about the wording. It's like they did in Ant-Man and Wasp. Ant-Man and Wasp will return, ?
Yeah.
And
it keeps you coming back, doesn't it?
Yeah. But, you know, one of the things which I think is the beauty of it, for me, is that going into it with knowing that in my head that's how I think they're going to end it. And just, if he lived, it would have been like, wow, I was wrong. And this is not me being smart after the fact. We actually have had this discussion for over a year. But to see them do it is still like, don't do it. You know, you know when you think if you don't do it,
you don't want it to happen.
No. But if it hadn't happened, it would have been
as impactful.
Yeah. And it wouldn't have been the Bond movie. And it's if you don't, I don't want to sound that it's only my opinion, because you know, in the sense that you're entitled to your opinion, and if you disagree, it's your choice. But they got a perfect arc, and why would you want to ruin a perfect arc by keeping the character alive?
Yeah.
And to me, that's this logic, this complete logic to the ending, and it's very respectful to Daniel Craig to do that.
Yeah, and like we were saying earlier, it's the only way to fully ensure that you can't go back to that world.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but I don't want them to go back to that world when there's a new Bond. I mean, you like we say, I'd like to see a spin-off with Paloma or Naomi. Like that'd be cool. And I'd like to see like Ralph Fiennes again. But when they do a new Bond, I want this to be like a new Bond. I don't want anything from the Craig era that could make you be like, oh, I wish Daniel Craig was still here. You know, like I do, but it's only because like he's been our Bond now for 16 years.
Yeah.
15.
16.
Is it 16?
2006.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also coming up for yeah. So you always feel like an attachment, don't you? I mean, it's also the only Bond where they've ended it with like an absolute sort of bombshell that he's dead.
Yeah.
You know, they've, like we were saying earlier, weren't we, that all the rest of them kind of end on whimpers, not bangs.
Yeah.
I mean, when Brosnan bowed out, there was no big fanfare. I think he just kind of said, "I'm done now." You know, and there was no like, "Oh, that last film was amazing, wasn't it?" Like we've sort of warmed to Die Another Day now, but it was bad at the time, and Connery's last was awful, and Roger Moore's was. We kind of like View to a Kill now, don't we? But it's not a great Bond film.
Diamonds Are Forever was a paycheck movie.
Yeah, he admitted that though, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it's just boring.
Yeah.
Which is a cardinal sin for Bond. Whereas this one was phenomenal.
Yeah.
The action was phenomenal. The photography was amazing. I think it was Roger Deakins again, wasn't it? But he did Skyfall. I don't know if he did this. But I mean, Bond's always got good cinematography, hasn't it?
Oh yes.
And stunts.
And it's the thing that got me is it was practical. A lot of it was practical, and I mean, I went to Kari Joji Fukunaga. did a really good job. I mean, I don't know the guy.
Yeah, he's a good director. He wrote the new It.
The DOP is Linus Sanguin.
Oh, I thought it was.
Let's go and have a look, see what he's done. He's known for La La Land.
Oh.
First Man. Damn. He did La La Land.
They usually do hire the best in the industry, don't they?
Yeah. First Man. American Hustle. He did La La Land. That explains a lot. Really does. The DOP on First Man DOP.
Well, Paloma's dress kind of looked La La Land. Now you mention it, doesn't it?
She was stunning. Anna de Armas was. Naomi Harris, though, I got such a soft spot for Naomi Harris.
She is a good Money Penny. I like. She's like sassy, isn't she? I like that scene where they're both sitting. Her and Naomi are sitting in the waiting room.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, so you shot him as well?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Yep, everyone keeps trying."
Oh. And Hugh Dennis, a British comedian.
Yeah, that's so weird. Like, I just thinking of Mock a Week when I saw him.
I really don't know the guy's work, but I do know him as being a...
That's quite brutal, that scene, isn't it?
Yeah. I think he's a local guy. Maybe say we were born. So we're trying to look up stuff.
I don't know, what would we do without IMDb?
Yeah. I remember the good old days when all you had to do was go into, was it Halliwell's film
Find
guy?
an actual book, yeah.
Yeah. It was, it's good that they do these sort of things with Robbie Coltrane.
Yeah.
In the Brosnan.
Oh yeah, what was Tchaikovsky.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, do you think this will surpass Skyfall as being the defining James Bond?
No, I think Skyfall is still like the supreme Bond film of this era, definitely. Just I don't know, it was just everything about it seemed just perfect. Like it was the 50th anniversary, and it was just such a good Bond film. Like, it was better than I even thought it had like a chance of being. Like, I mean, it looked good in the trailers and that, but I remember when I first went to see it, I was kind of like, wow, that was. I need to see that again.
Yeah.
You know, it was so good, and just the whole arc with them, and it's just yeah. I think that's the best of the Craig era. For me, it's the dark one, and sometimes it got a bit too pitch black. But oh yeah,
in terms of construction and storytelling and everything, it's you got that and you got Goldfinger, which
yeah.
But the problem is with Goldfinger and with Skyfall is it did kind of make a knock-on effect on anything that came after it.
Yeah.
I mean, but
well, I mean, Goldfinger still holds rule over the whole series, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the definitive Bond, isn't it? It's where Bond's like it's where he gets his dictionary definition, I suppose, isn't it? Like, you know, the first two they're kind of finding their feet. Because I actually do think From Russia with Love could maybe be a better film. It's certainly a better spy film.
I prefer
it's Connery's personal favourite.
From Russia with Love.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I can understand that. I mean, for me, it's other than the Daniel Craig is ones you can put on that I just think it's pure enjoyment. It is On Her Majesty's Secret Service, obviously, but and From Russia with Love. I mean, those two are kind of like go-to ones for me.
Yeah.
And but if you ever want a masterclass in how to do it right and how it informs everything that comes after it, we'll be still talking about Skyfall for years to come. It'll be like Goldfinger and Skyfall. Those, if you want to make a Bond film, you just pick those two out of your collection and analyze them. You know, that's how they did it. And but No Time to Die will go up there as being.
Oh yeah, I think. I don't know where it. I need to see it again to place it fully, but right now it's still
Honeymoon
Skyfall
Period
and Casino Royale at the top. But Yeah, I think it may surpass that when I've seen it a few times.
I'm in the honeymoon period with this
Yeah.
film, so I'm kind of like, I want to see this
You're
film
being
again.
patient, aren't you? Yeah.
Well,
You're trying to be patient about placing it where it goes.
yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like, if I say right now, I'm going, yeah, it is one of my favourites of the thing. Then when you put on something like, you say, like Casino Royale, and it's sort of like, I mean, Martin Campbell, who did GoldenEye,
Reinvented it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you look at those two and you're just like, but it's how it's the fact that they had the balls to go through it, and like I said, it's the characters, and it is they behave how they should behave, rather than just going, well, we're gonna go from that set piece, because all these action films these days are set piece after set piece after set piece,
over edited set piece.
And there it definitely over edited, but this one, it did what Die Another Day couldn't do, because Die Another Day had all those references in that were so in your face.
Yeah.
Whereas this one was, whoa.
Yeah.
You had to look for them, and that's...
Yeah, all like musical cues.
Yeah.
That's probably the ultimate fan thing that only fans notice, isn't it? I mean, Star Wars does that really well, where they'll use certain themes that only the fans would know.
Yeah.
And I mean, Die Another Day was kind of like, oh, here's your new watch Bond, 20th.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, we get it.
Aston Martin call it the Vanquish, we call it the Vanish.
Yeah, and sniffing Rosa Kleb's shoe.
Yeah.
Like, how is he even the same Bond? But
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It did.
I remember one of the video games as well once, and it was Pierce Brosnan and Judi Dench's voice, and the bad guy in the game was supposed to be, played by Willem Dafoe actually, was supposed to be a protege of Max Zorin, and they mention it, and Pierce Brosnan goes, Max Zorin, yeah, we played bridge together, he lost, and I was kind of like, but that's not you, like, that's a different Bond.
Yeah.
How is it the same character? But I mean, I know it's just kind of like a joke, isn't it? But it's just the one series where if you do try and make sense of the timeline, you will just confuddle yourself. It's impossible. Even with the codename thing, it doesn't clear a lot of other things up.
Listening to the Beatles, was it drinking a bowl and just something? It's like listening
38.
to
something like that.
It's like listening to the Beatles without earmuffs.
Yeah, that dates it, doesn't it? It's so bad. I am glad someone else doesn't like the Beatles though, apart from just me in the world.
Peace and love, I love the Beatles. But
I imagine that was a case of Sean Connery doesn't like the Beatles.
Yeah, we're gonna add it in.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm gonna before we start, I'm gonna see what Cary Joji
Fukunaga. He looks like a sort of Asian Mark Wahlberg. I know he wrote it, the screenplay for the film.
Writer 9 credits. No time to
Or
die.
did he direct it?
It's screenplayed by.
Oh no, he might have. I think he directed it as well, actually.
Let's have a quick look at his director. He did really well coming into it, because I always, like you say, they always pick the best, don't they?
Yeah.
Was it Alexander Witt was the second unit director?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I always remember him from Resident Evil.
Yeah, I do. That's right. Yeah, Apocalypse, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, he did True Detective, didn't he? Yeah. That's really good. Oh no, I thought he did direct it. He didn't.
Beast of the Nation.
Oh no, it was Andy Muschietti who directed it.
But yeah, I'm glad I mean, it'd be nice to see it last year, but this wait,
Yeah, definitely.
Wait was. It was worth it. It wasn't one of these.
I would have been interested to see what Danny Boyle would have done with it.
He was originally attached.
Yeah, they left over creative differences. That's what they always say, though, isn't it? I know. I always read into that. I didn't get paid enough, but I don't know whether it is actually literally creative differences. Sometimes
they wanted this ending. I gave them this, or they wanted to go this way. I wanted to go this way.
Because I know, like, the Barbara Broccoli's not an interfering producer, as far as I know. I think she lets the artists do what they do best. I mean, I know she has always been a vocal advocate for Daniel Craig, though, which is nice, like, to see, because even when everyone was like, oh, there's a documentary on Apple that you can rent right now called Being James Bond, and it's like a behind the scenes look at all of Daniel Craig's films, but it's him talking to Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli in the background, but they don't show you them, so it's not a talking heads one. You can just hear them in the background, and it shows you that you know, the press junket when he was first announced, when he had the life jacket on and that,
which was for insurance reasons.
yeah, and there's a female reporter that says like, so you're blonde, and he's like, yeah. And she's like, "Are you gonna dye your hair? Because Bond's not blonde, is he?" And he just goes, "Well, he is now." Next question, like sort of. And Judi Dench is on it as well, saying like, it's the first time. This was in a different documentary, Everything or Nothing. Oh, it's really good. It's like a full story of the whole franchise. But she's just sort of saying like, people are asking what colour hair Daniel Craig's got. How fucking rude is that? And I thought, oh, Dame Jude, I've spoken.
Don't mess with her.
Yeah. But it's just really nice, like, because at the end of it, you know, Daniel Craig sort of gets the crew together, and it's the last film scene they filmed is the scene where he finishes with Ana de Armas when he disappears around the corner with Obrachev, and he sort of calls all the crew together and says like, it's been hard, but it's been like the best years of his life, and he bursts into tears. And I've never seen him like, it's so nice to see someone attached to a role that much, because I know there was a lot of sort of flack he got recently, wasn't there, where he said he'd rather slit his wrists than play Bond again.
Yeah.
And he said to someone like, look, I was knackered. It's the equivalent of asking someone that's just finished a marathon, would you just go and run another one?
Yeah.
He's like, no, you'd tell them to piss off, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And like, it's just nice to see like he is just a guy at the end of the day. Like, it is just a role, and it was a special role, but it goes on, and it must go on.
I'm hoping they're going to put all this stuff on the Blu-ray.
Yeah, I think they will. Yeah.
Gotta send them out in style with this one. Okay. Ratings out of 5.
I'm gonna go with 4.5. It was fantastic. The only thing that I had a problem with was the villain and his plot. I just didn't think they could have done better with the villain. And it's a shame because it is Rami Malek.
I agree, but I can't give it anything less than 5.
It didn't spoil it. I don't get me wrong, I loved it. It's just, I mean, it's Freddie Mercury. Isn't it? It's Freddie fucking Mercury. To quote Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, do something good with him.
Yeah. It's when you're seeing some of the stunts and everything, and you're trying to figure out how they did this, but not in the we can say, oh, they digitally did this and they digitally did that, and it's like, how did they do this? And the editing and the pacing and everything, and it was, to me, it was the perfect ending for a perfect, so I can't give it anything less than 5. I have the rose tinted glasses firmly on at the moment, so. And
there was one more thing I wanted to say as well that worked out really well. You know how it was distributed by Universal or produced, whatever. I actually really like the fact that the Universal logo goes into the gun barrel.
Yeah.
Because it's the perfect shape for that, isn't it?
It definitely.
And it was just, when I saw that, I was kind of like, that's cool.
And I'm glad that Universal stuck to the guns and gave it a cinematic release rather than going straight to streaming.
100%. I think when something like Bond can wait, so can Marvel.
Exactly. So, that's been a little look at James Bond's No Time to Die and a look at James Bond. We've spoke for nearly an hour. So, like I said, if we ruined the film for you, we warned you at the start.
It's your own fault.
Yeah, we did warn you before you right at the start. So, No Time to Die. I'm Stevie.
And Callum.